Why?
Because just like we did factoring before, we're going to do some AC factoring again today. So, I gave you guys all the steps over again, because you guys have done this before. This was last chapter stuff. This time we are adding on an extra piece at the very end, like we did before. Are you kidding me? No, man. Should be good stuff. It's going to be real exciting. So, we are going to find solutions of... What'd you do?
I was trying to weird.
Why did I...
Oh.
You gonna be here till 4, Loki?
I will.
Alright, I need to turn it on.
What?
Okay, so we're going to find the solutions of 5x squared plus 11x plus 2. Okay, hush, we're getting started. Make sure you guys follow along, take your notes. We won't spend as much time going through the actual AC factoring parts, because you guys have done this before. I'm going to tell you to be 5 units of strength. Okay, so this is going to be AC factoring because this right here is not just a regular x squared. Because I have a 5 in front of this x squared, we can't do regular factoring. So we have to use AC factoring. And actually, on your guys' homework, I gave you some that were AC factoring, so you, as long as you went through like 14 or something, you were fine. 14 or 15, you were fine. Like the last 3, I think, were AC factoring, and I missed that when I gave you these.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Yeah. So don't worry about those last 3.
Oh, so we don't have to do 16, 17, or 18?
Yeah, we don't have to do 16 or 17.
Yeah. Yeah. Those last 3 of the homework you guys don't have to do.
Is it 8 through 19 or 8 through 18?
It was 8 through 19, but it's like 8 through 16 now.
What serious?
What was that on?
Tell me, I was
What?
Hey, put your hands off.
Alright. Okay, so we're going to use AC factoring, and we're going to get down to 2 parentheses. And unlike last chapter, we're not going to end it at the 2 parentheses. We're going to keep going and get solutions. So our final answer for everything today is going to be x equals something. So, AC factoring, our first steps are doing A times C. So Luis, what's A, what's B, what's C?
I know this.
See what you remember.
A is the x2 thing, right?
Yep, x squared, yep, that's A. What's B?
B is 11.
Yep.
And C is 2.
So we're going to do A times C, which is 5 times 2, which is 10. I want to know what times what is 10 adds up to 11. That is my step 1. Do A times C, and then do this little multiply plus thing. So what times what is 10 adds up to 11? What do you think, Greg?
10 and 1.
10 and 1. So 10 times 1 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, rewrite B with your new numbers. Remember, when we do step 2, we add on x's or y's or whatever our variable is. X's in this case. And we rewrite B. 10x plus 1x is still 11x, which is what we don't want to actually change that around. We just want to split it up to make it easy to use. So I have a 5x squared plus 10x plus 1x and plus 2. Yep, that's your next step.
What the?
And let me see if I can go copy this real quick,
Oh.
so I don't have to write it again, because I'm feeling particularly lazy today.
Or so, Loki.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
The reason for everything, Loki.
There it is. I don't know what this one is. Actually, just because I feel lazy. Alright, let's see if I can get this. Oh, maybe this was a bad idea. Oh, I got it. You hacker.
I broke the system.
Okay, so I just redid it again just because I can't look back and forth like you guys can. So step 3 is kind of the annoying one. That is where you split it into 2 parentheses and factor out the greatest common factor from each parenthesis.
It's not that hard.
Alright, so let's look at these parentheses here. What's the biggest number that goes in 5 and 10? My first parenthesis. 5, right? So I'm going to factor out a 5 for my first parenthesis, but I can take out more than 5 because each one of these has an x, right? So we're going to take out an x from each one.
And a square.
Just an x. Okay. Yeah, just an x because this one doesn't have an x squared, so I can only take out an
Put a
x.
square above it.
What?
Why didn't you just do that, Luis?
No.
Luis.
Oh man, that would break it. We're not breaking the
27.
system anymore.
Money.
Alright, and then my second parenthesis, I have to take something out. That's the only thing I can take out is the 1x and 2.
2.
Just one. So I'm going to factor out a 1 from these ones.
27. What is that?
And when I factor it out, I got to toss it out in front here. And then on the rest inside, it's kind of like dividing. So I'm going to have a 5x. And then inside, it's kind of like dividing. 5 over 5 is 1. X squared over x is x. Remember, x squared means I have x at the top divided by an x. One of them cancel out, I have one left over.
Why is that one copy?
Which is the long way. Or you can subtract your exponents.
I thought you just put them on the outside and then the. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, I thought you just put X on there.
That's right, Jency.
What?
The same thing.
You just put X on there?
What do you mean?
Right there.
Right here?
Yes.
Yeah. Because what's x squared over x?
X.
A single x. So I put that right there. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you could just write x right here instead of 1x. That's fine.
Yeah, I was like,
I got
damn
it.
it.
Alright, then we're going to keep going. Plus 10 over 5 is 2. And x over x cancels out.
No, it's 27.
And then we're going to keep going. I'm taking out a 1. And then it's like dividing by 1. I'm going to go 1x. Or you could just write regular x. That's fine. You don't need to put the 1 in. Plus 2. Like that.
Who's doing
Alright,
that?
that was step 3. This is the most annoying one just because it takes the longest.
Is that you?
Step 4, we're going to get 2 parentheses.
Can you please stop?
Step 4, you're getting 2 parentheses here. My first parentheses is everything on the outside. So the 5x and the 1. We're going to toss in our first parentheses. 5x. And I'm going to go plus 1 because it's positive. My second parenthesis is, you see how I have 1x plus 2, 1x plus 2? I just pick 1 and I toss it in there. It doesn't really matter which one.
27.
No.
No.
Alright. Now, so far it's been exactly the same as before. This is the new piece. But it's basically what you guys did yesterday. So, if I look back here real quick, it was equaled 0, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to bring that equals 0 back. We were kind of ignoring it for a little bit.
Zero product property.
Yeah. So it equals 0, right? We're going to use our zero product property, which is what we did yesterday, and we're going to look at each parenthesis and say, how can I make each parenthesis 0? So for the first one, I have a 5x plus 1, right? We're going to set it equal to 0 and solve it. For my second one, you know what? I am going to write down just x plus 2 to make it easier, and it equals 0, right? I have to solve both of these, and whatever I get after I solve both will be my final answer. So on this first one, what's the first thing I should do, Major?
Stop.
Oh,
Oh my god.
What? Nope, no, this one. On the left one. How about you tell me you did that?
Look at the first step.
Yeah. So first
So
step,
minus 1 is
we're going to minus 1 on both sides.
I look at the computer calculation.
We had 5x equals negative 1. And Moses, what's the next step?
What?
What's the next step?
You subtract 2.
No. We're still on the first one.
Oh, you divide 5.
Yeah, divide by 5. And, one more space, we're going to get x equals negative 1 over 5 is negative 0.2.
But like
Okay, for our second one, Adelia, what do we have to do?
It's kind of fun.
Minus 2 on both sides, and we get x equals negative 2. So these are my 2 answers. These are my answers. Or you could have listed like x equals negative 0.2, comma, negative 2 if you wanted. That's also fine. It doesn't
So
really
it's pretty
matter.
much like a 7-step.
Only 5 steps.
5.
Only
Oh,
5.
You're only 2 off.
Come on, we'll get 7 steps later. Other 2.
We have to do like
What?
50 freaking questions.
No. We won't have that many questions.
We're gonna do like 3 questions with like 5 different questions within that one question.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
So like 15
answers.
That sounds about right.
Whoa.
Alright, and that is it. Those are our 2 answers. So this is almost exactly the same as AC factoring, except the very end is what we did yesterday. Alright, so we're going to find the solutions of 6x squared plus 13x plus 5. And you know what? I forgot on here, I should have an equals 0 right there.
So
Yes, man, Jack.
If I don't get
Can we
enough
just do this on our
right,
own?
I usually
Yeah, can we just do some on our own, see what
How'd you
we
do
get?
No, I want to do another one together.
No.
Some people maybe,
We do what you want to. All we're gonna do is either sleep in class or play Fortnite.
You don't get this.
no, I get it.
That's a good third one. All right, Ivy, starts off. What's that one?
That sounds like your class.
You're gonna complain. I know. You're absent.
I said 10, it was 10.
It is
Okay, it's
blank
10.
times blank equals 30.
Yeah.
Blank plus blank equals 13.
It's very hesitant, but you are correct. Remember, first thing we do A times C. We have A, B, and C. A times C, 6 times 5 is 30. What times what is 30? Adds up to 13. What do you think, Megan?
6 times 5.
6 times 5. Let's do 3 times 5. Nice try. Maybe next time you can have more. Alright, so we did step 1, where you do A times C, and you do the little times plus thing. Alright, Jason, what are we doing next?
Huh?
What are we doing next?
You're gonna rewrite the problem.
With, what's it going to look like when I rewrite it?
You're gonna, hold on,
X.
get this 6 in there. Shoot. Hold on.
Alright, I'll give you time.
Can I do it?
No,
Yeah, you can do it.
you got the next question.
What is the next question?
Wait, won't we just write the exact same, Doki?
Close, but we're doing, what step 2 say in your paper?
Oh, rewrite B with your new numbers.
Yeah, so what's it going to look like when I replace B?
6x squared
Yep, 6x squared.
plus 3x
Yep, plus 3x. Keep going.
plus 10x
And then what's the last part?
plus 5.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'm smart.
No, add your stuff.
Alright, Ruben, what am I doing next?
What's step 3?
Yep, step
You
3.
put,
Can we just do on step
put the 6x.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wait, hold on.
You put the 6x.
Shoot.
What are we doing?
Take
What's step 3? What's step 3? Okay,
This is step 3.
yeah, what are we doing on step 3 specifically?
You put the 5x, not 5x, 6x under the other 6x.
What?
Oh my
How about we put parentheses around it first? That's our next step. We'll put parentheses and then factor out what we can, right? So Ruben, what can I take out of a 6x squared and a 3x?
1x.
You can take out an x, right?
Yes.
What's the number I can take out of those?
2. 3.
We're going to factor out a 3x. Alizea, what can I take out of a 10x and a 5?
5.
Yep. We're going to factor out a 5. Alright, and remember we're going to like toss them out in front here. So I toss that 3x out in front. Kinsey, what do I have left over inside when I do 6x squared over 3x?
2x.
Yep. And then the 3x over 3x is?
1.
Yep, this one. Alright, then we're going to factor out this 5 over here. Ashlyn, what do I have left after I do 10x over 5?
1.
What?
How do you... I don't know how to do this.
Alright, what's 10 over
Yeah, you
5?
can't
It's
laugh
10
when I
divided
get it
by
wrong.
5.
I didn't even laugh at you. Give her a second.
What's 10 over 5?
The answer's
Wait,
2.
what? Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening.
What is 10 over 5?
Okay, 2.
2, right?
Yeah.
Do I have any other x's other than this one?
No.
So I just write it down. And then I'm going to keep going plus, what's 5 over 5? Actually,
You said it earlier.
break.
I'm not even going to answer. You guys are done.
You got
Dude,
this.
I'm just saying, you said it
No,
earlier.
Let's
I'm
take
not
on
even
the
gonna answer.
Beatrix. You
No,
got
I'm
it.
not going to answer.
He doesn't
Probably
know what it is.
I know how she
How proud, Luis? What's 5 over 5?
I'm not going to answer.
No, just
Go ahead and answer
Tell
it.
us. Nope, no pass. Just one. Just one. There you go. Alright. We're going to keep going. Greg, what am I doing next?
Speaking
Uh,
the truth.
Truth is garbage right now. Shut up.
What step are we on?
We are still working on step. Actually, we're on step 4 now.
rewrite it, put a 0.
Great.
Do it, Joe.
He's not even paying attention.
What's on, outside, parentheses on the inside?
Yeah, we got parentheses, right?
Yeah.
What's gonna go on the first one?
Do you like multiply 3 and 2 or something?
That, we would, if we were distributing, but we're not. We're just taking our first parenthesis here, which we get by everything on the outside.
So you'd multiply 3 plus 5.
We add them.
Oh,
We
you
go
add?
3x plus 5.
Oh,
And what goes in my second parenthesis?
2x and 1.
Yeah, 2x and then a plus 1. There we go. Alright, Beto, what am I doing next?
Solving your 2 answers.
Yep, don't forget, put your equal 0 back on the end. And what do you get for the, actually, we'll all set them up here. We'll go 3x plus 5 equals 0. And I got 2x plus 1 equals 0. Alright, if we are going to solve for the first one, Lily, what's the first thing I do?
Subtract 5.
Yep, plus 5. And we get 3x equals -5. Gabe, what's next?
Divide by 3.
And tell me what you get when you divide by 3, because I don't have decimals on me.
Negative 1.6.
Negative
You put
1.6.
negative 1.67?
You can do that if you want it. Or it would be 1.6 repeating, right?
Yeah.
1.67 would work for 1.6 repeating.
Yeah.
Alright, Moses, I'm not going to solve the second one.
Subtract 1.
Both sides. And then what are we doing?
Divided by 2.
And what do we get when we divide by 2?
-5.
So these are our two answers. Negative 1.6 repeating is our first one, and negative 0.5. What you'll find when you do today stuff, you will almost always have at least one decimal in there. This one I had 2 decimals, you almost always have at least one. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you might have a regular number, but it's probably going to be decimal. Alright, guys ready to try one on your own?
Yes.
Oh,
Alright, so actually, we're actually going to start this one. We'll start this one ourselves real quick, then you'll do it on your own. So we're going to find the solutions of 3x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 3. Does this equal 0?
No.
We want to make it equal 0 first. So, it's pretty simple. There's a 3 over here, right? How do I get rid of a 3? What's the opposite?
Minus 3.
Minus 3. So I'm going to minus 3 on both sides.
Oh, just on that.
Just
the
on
next
both
one-
sides.
No, it's on both.
Well, the 3 is going to match up with the 12, right? Because they're just regular numbers.
I see.
3 isn't going to go to the x squared. So we're going to go 3x squared plus 4x minus 15 equals 0. Now AC factor.
Oh,
Oh.
So if it doesn't equal 0, make it equal 0 by doing the opposite of whatever's there. So we minus 3 on both sides. Alright, on your own, I'll give you a few minutes.
wait,
I wrote, Goki,
would it be negative 15 for
Yes.
this minute?
Goki, you know it's really funny? I wrote this on that.
Goki.
So we're gonna do 3.
Okay, I was 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
Not 15.
So negative 15 times.
Doesn't matter, he's a teacher.
That can't be absent.
Right here, Goki.
It's not
Over there.
absent.
Probably get that
So
out
negative
of the way.
45. And then the
But
other
it's
one
not
is 4.
absent.
Come on, Goki, don't even, I mean, you gotta
You can't just add 5 minutes.
What does 5 minutes have to do with anything?
Oh!
It was 10 minutes. I was late 10 minutes.
Is that how we're waiting?
So I wouldn't be absent.
You came in, you were like, am I late?
I know, I'm just saying that just to mess around. I can't be absent. I can be tardy.
So you're 3 times negative 15.
I'll change that for you.
How do you tell which ones are what? Last time I thought we did the first 2 numbers.
It's the 2 outside. The first
Dude,
Watch up, bro.
dude, bro, like,
That's not.
I live.
Try to throw hands, bro.
Dude, like, I will throw my hand right at you.
Goki, though, can't be absent.
What?
That's not all the teammates were at.
Watch yourself, bro.
I thought it was, like, I thought it was supposed to be basketball too. Because maybe I used
Square plus negative 9.
to almost
No,
be
it's nice.
has to be absent. Yeah. I can't be absent.
Better not stay out of class playing Fortnite then, huh? Doesn't help you at all, does it?
Do you not?
Alright, keep working. I'll give you 2 or 3 more minutes and we'll start going over it.
I need help.
Alright, what's up?
You put minus
That's
two.
what I got.
Yes, go to negative.
You know, I was not done doing something. I'm not absent. Should be absent.
That's not normal.
You gotta get that checked out here.
You gotta get that check. That ain't.
You don't get started on the test, probably only minus 0.5 points. Not getting started? Yeah. I always leave at this class
Never mind, Balky, I'm fine.
Okay, never mind. I just-
You're late, you're doing it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was like Robert.
A times 3 times negative 15.
Okay. I think I did this wrong.
You.
Yeah, Moses.
Stay
right.
Alright.
3x, right?
Moses.
No, but like, there's negative 3 and positive 2.
Oh, because that's negative 5, right? So that should have been negative 5 right there.
Dude.
That should have been a minus 5. And to get rid of it, you take out negative 5.
Okay. Okay, are we gonna do the next one? I'm pretty damn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
Are we gonna do the next one?
No, 100% was in it. You still was stopping me.
Remember, we always want that one to take out negative.
Oh, okay.
So, after dividing me times 3 divided by 3.
Okay, that's what I put.
Grab the 0.
And then this one is going to be 5. Oh, wait, no, 5.
Bomb
Okay,
Copy.
the ones on the bottom are the ones.
Does this have security cameras?
Like inside the building?
I've never done that. Dang it, so there's no footage of that. Dang it. I don't believe it.
Oh, you just forgot. What's negative divided by negative? You guys doing pretty good? We'll start going over this in about a minute since people are still working. You guys doing pretty good though?
Down there's that.
If you go to like a little supermarket.
Do we do? Minus
Yeah,
five.
so I was looking around everywhere for it. I was like, where is it at?
Put X's on. 9x minus 5x.
What do we do?
And then don't forget your minus 15.
That doesn't make sense, dude.
Now, that was step 1. What's step 2? Or you did step 2 now. What's
No,
step
like
3?
I was hooping in these at first.
Why are your fingers always red?
My Cheetos.
Or we'll figure out what to divide by. You done really?
Which one?
I mean, who has bigger feet, Billy or I?
Well, you can do step 2 if you want.
I don't do mine in the steps you do, Loki.
4.
4.5
I've been working for it.
For real?
I know that line.
You.
Yeah.
Name. Smoky.
Keep working if you're not done. We'll have a few people start doing these on the board for us.
I did it, Goki. Yeah.
Check your answer.
But I already
I don't know what I did, but I didn't get this.
You get it, see.
Because then,
Get it when you get it. Get it.
yeah, I think I read this way.
I got x equals 1.6 and x equals
What number? Because that was 9.
What? What's the last one?
Because 9 doesn't go into 3.
So
So you gotta take
I'll do
it.
step 1, I'll do step 1.
Alright, so a couple people are going to be doing this on the board. So make sure you pay attention so you get the same answer.
Goki, I want to do it.
I think it'll be
Who has it?
You should let me break for calculator. You should let me break for calculator.
special calculator. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give you my
The X?
I do
The square cancels out, so there's just a
Well, then
regular
what's
X
this
left
big?
over. So it'll be a 1X.
I'm a 5.5.
Alright, Lily's got a good start on step 2. Or excuse me, step 1. Beto's going to go on to step 2. Hopefully.
Oh no, you put
Man, we definitely tell when they change.
Wow, Loki, you're so.
I am. I'm a monster.
Okay, so that one.
It's fine, keep going, you got it.
Plus one.
I believe in you.
Lily has good handwriting on there.
I
Which
know.
one's Lily's?
Makes me look better. Which one do you think?
I
know it's raining right now. There's only one in this spot.
Equals 0.
What's the same
That's
color?
step 3.
I know, Becca's looks kinda good.
Actually, Beto's is pretty good. This is 3. It's a little weird. Hey, no, keep doing the others. Somebody else can do it.
Hello.
And next, 3. Alright.
Jesus Christ.
Just go. Just go. Just power through this.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't even know what that is.
Is that an arrow?
No, it's an egg.
What is that?
I believe in you, man.
What is that?
Did I kill you?
Oh, my tummy hurts.
I tried to kill the wife, we'll keep.
Did I threaten you?
Got it. Keep going.
Whoa,
Dude,
whoa.
hold on, dude. Like,
I
dude.
believe in you. You got this.
I believe
You're not even looking at the board when you're writing.
Look at his team.
You said he believed in me, Goki.
I do.
Okay, I'm not
Sure,
sure.
look at that. See him better though.
You're so
I
slow.
said the answer.
Shut up, Beto.
You're like this in video games too. It's horrible.
Dude, Beto, like, I'm playing Fortnite.
Huh? I don't play Fortnite. I think I deleted that game too.
No. Yeah, do all step 3.
Yeah,
that's that 4. Yeah, one more line.
I'll beat you in Siege.
That's okay.
Anybody even know what that game is?
Jace knows.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Pretty cool.
Can you show me?
Oh. Oh.
Alright,
GTA 2.
Hey. Hey.
Crossing the screen, let's go.
I'm gonna advance.
Fast.
This is painful.
No, that doesn't deserve a signature.
What were you
Alright.
doing? 6 inches? I knew what the sign is.
It's smiley.
Alright, and then we aren't quite done yet. We still have to put the
Six inches back there. That thing's 6 inches.
Alright, Majai's gonna finish this off for us.
I didn't even do step 5.
Oh, good thing it's on there and you just need to, you know, like actually do it. So you can do it on the board, man, that's great.
All my times are dead. Okay, if I did it up there, I would've been like, real good handwriting like Beethoven's handwriting.
Beethoven's handwriting?
Yeah, Majai.
Beethoven doesn't have, he's not known for his handwriting.
Dude, bye.
Like nobody thinks of Beethoven, like, oh man, that handwriting was made for
There's 3 of those.
Alright.
There's a possibility. What is that?
Wasn't he a golf player?
Oh, you gave
Beethoven, that's a rapper, right?
No, I
I
didn't.
go equals 0, right?
It's like,
Alright, so you said each parentheses
like it
equals
was
0.
yesterday.
It's pretty good.
It was yesterday. You don't remember that shit?
Are you going slow so you don't make me your handwriting?
Apologize.
You know what, golf
She's
team?
Alright, keep going.
No. I'm like, get off this.
Good, push it off.
Same.
Yeah, what's
The only
that?
reason why I go back is because
I mean,
her bed is right up.
1.67 is on 1.6.
She's on my bed.
1.67
Or 1.6
She
repeating.
hit her
Pick
one.
one.
So 9.97. Now why she
Is that another X?
What is that, dude?
She's like,
Alright, how about second parentheses, Majai?
It's like
I have
going
that one too.
Yeah.
There's no room for it.
There's tons of room for it. And you don't even, I bet you can do that one in your head. What's your second answer there? X plus 3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Try to play.
I did. I tried it when I was
What's the second parentheses?
Where's that at?
It's X plus 3.
Oh,
I was like, I didn't even hit you that much. I was like,
There you go. Any negative 3.
if I could, I would.
I'm pretty sure that's a
Well, she's like 3 years older than me, too.
Alright, nice job, guys. You guys are pretty good at this.
Heck yeah, I'm pretty good.
Handwriting
Or
notwithstanding.
it's just easy.
Don't be like I was
You didn't even do the other one.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah.
He had our 2 answers. So our 2 answers were,
Write that one down.
our 2 answers were X equals 1.6, X equals negative, I think that's 3.
1.67.
Meggy or Reggie.
Alright, nice job, guys. We're gonna skip this one.
Okay, thank God.
And you know what? We'll skip your exit ticket too. So you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have to do homework.
One time after good handwriting.
Alright, give me a minute to put the homework on Google Classroom. You guys can get started. They're already called. Because actually, no, it was Moses. Actually, asked.
Let me get the crusty ones.
I give it to you. You actually, I don't remember how the question was.
You didn't turn in his homework.
Well, I haven't graded stuff yet, so he has till tomorrow.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah.
No.
Write it down on the paper and give it to me, so I don't forget.
Oh, it's like, wait, on paper.
Yeah, so that way when I grade, I can put it in.
Okay.
It's pretty tough.
What was the spec?
Ah, it was really good.
Thank you.
Okay, you got?
Yes, but
Okay, can I get your pen?
sure.
Okay, thank you.
It's just common sense, but
Who booked it? Do you remember the name? Okay. We don't deserve to have 2. Or we don't deserve to have homework after every lesson.
Yes, yes you do.
We don't.
did you put the homework on yet?
I am right now. It's there. I mean, it was there the whole time. What are you talking about? Oh, I should probably stop recording also.